Welcome back. I am still waiting on the engine bearings. My new ship date is in January, so I haven't been able to put the engine back together. I do have some time off around the holidays, so I think I'm gonna do what everybody else does this time of year, which is teach myself how to weld. Regarding automobiles, yeah. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, number one reason is, as I work on this car, I realized that, every so often I would have liked to have just been able to weld something. And it's a very useful skill to have in general if I'm gonna be doing this in the long run. But the main reason is you probably remember this from the lower engine mount. Well, that wasn't actually, I thought it was the bushing. And it was, the bushing ripped out of it. But the problem is, you'll see here, and I'm doing a whole video about the subframe, so you'll get a lot more detail about this. Obviously this fused inside the bushing, the bolt that was there. But as it turned, the first popping noise that you heard was the bushing ripping away. The second popping noise was this nut that was welded to the subframe that came off. I'll show you where. So what we're looking at here is the whole subframe out of the car. We're looking down from the top. Obviously, these would bolt to the sort of further back in the car. This faces forward. And the engine mount would go right here. So this piece would go in here. Mount would go in like this. And you'll notice there is nothing here, except maybe a few marks from where this used to be. So when I spun it, this obviously broke free. The bushing broke free. The nut broke free. The mission is, I know it seems like the most basic thing in the world, but the mission is to weld, not this one, but another one back on here. So like I said, that is a very simple weld. But for someone that's never done anything like that before, I'm gonna have to start, from the basics, getting a welder, all that stuff. So we're gonna go through that today. And just to give you a better idea, it looks like this bolt was only put on with 4 tack welds. So we'll try and do a little bit better than that. The original bolt had to cut to get out. And then there's that, obviously, that broke off. So what I'm gonna do, and it was a flanged bolt, which are so hard to find. So what I'm gonna do is I just bought a new weld nut. We'll get that welded in. I've got a washer and the same, everything else about this, it's actually higher grade probably. It's a 10.9 bolt, and should do the job, I hope. Let's get started. Okay, what do we need to get started welding? Helmet, Black Friday deal, 30 bucks. You'll notice I'm also in a coverall now. That's just better overall, especially in the winter. But it's good to cover my arms. Some welding gloves that I picked up back when I was heating up that sprocket. And I wanted to hold it when it was super hot. So welding gloves. Bottle of argon and CO2 mix. Found a local supplier here. This is a bigger bottle than I wanted, but I couldn't find anyone to sell me the small ones. So this will hook into the welder. Borrowed this welder. And this regulator, which was the most expensive thing, to be honest. So yeah, let's put it all together. So first thing, or something that just came to my mind is, if it's bad for your eyes, is it bad for the camera? So I moved the camera back a bit. Hopefully it should be fine. Hopefully I don't destroy my camera. Fumes, I've got a fan running in the background. I'm only gonna do a couple taps here. I guess if I was welding all the time, I should be wearing a respirator. So don't, safety people in the comments, don't freak out. Okay, so some minor repairs to the welder. Like I said, it's borrowed and secondhand, and some minor repairs to the brand new flow meter. Not just minor repairs, it was just, I didn't realize it was stuck fully on. I now have it between 10 and 15 CFM, so whatever it is. Gas is flowing to the torch. So all I need to do is hook up the grounding wire and use a welder for the first time. Okay, so that was it. That was the first sparks I've ever made. Looks horrible. I think I'm getting too much wire. Okay, so it's not staying on. The wire's coming out too fast, or I have too much gas. I'll turn it down a little bit. Okay. So why is it doing that? Pop, 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 pop. Okay, all of a sudden it's a little bit better. I turned up the voltage, but it also turns up the wire speed. Okay, seems a little better. I'll turn up one more, a little bit. Okay, that actually felt like real welding. Sounded like it anyway. Okay, let's try again. I kind of feel like maybe the shade is too dark because I can't really see what's going on. I just realized something. I'm pulling it, and the one thing that Spiria Studios had to do was push. So pushing begins now. All right, let's take a look. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like. This is where we started with the popping and everything kind of in the middle, just trying to get it to work. And then you see I actually started getting, something going on here when I got I think the mix between the wire speed and the power right. And then this one was my first sort of real one. And then this is when I decided, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be pushing it. So this one actually turned out pretty good. I mean, relatively good. So yeah, progress is being made. Okay, using it for the first time is level 1 and getting it working. We're gonna move to level 2, which is, I've drawn some lines on here, and I'm gonna try and follow those lines. Also, since I'll be doing a lot more here, I grabbed a respirator, so hopefully it fits under the mask. I mean, not horrible for the first day, but it doesn't feel quite right. So I have to play with the settings a little more. So here we are. I think we went like this and then down. There's some okay ones in there, and then I just was messing around there. Some okay ones in there. Still not super comfortable with the exact right settings, but you know, I'm feeling a lot more confident. I'm feeling a lot better. Okay, we've done level 1 using the welder without freaking out. Level 2, which was do some lines or beads. Now I'm gonna move to level 3, which is I've got some scrap pieces of metal that I've cut, and it's just gonna be welding one thing to another thing, also known as welding. So the plan is put it in place, do a quick, I believe, tack on it, and then try and weld the whole thing on. These are pretty thin, so I don't know if it'll be worth it to weld both sides or if that'll just do weird things, but for sure I'm gonna do one side. Okay, so that's my tack. And I just realized I wasn't wearing my respirator, so I'm gonna go grab that. Holy shit. Oh man. Well, I'm really glad that wasn't anything important. I'll give you a close-up here, but I just melted right through it. Okay. So the wire speed was good, I think. Just need to move it a little faster. Oh man, that's funny. Okay, I think I figured out one of the issues. So I have my flat piece here, my perpendicular piece here, and what I'm doing is I'm putting the wire, I think, too high on the vertical piece and just running it across. I'm not actually on the seam, and I think that's an issue. I think I'd be better off going along the base, or well, I have to definitely go closer to the base, but I don't know exactly where to put it, so that's what I'll try next, moving that. Okay, again, a little more. Again, it looks a little more like a weld. I should have cut more scrap. Okay, so the theory is that the metal's too thin for for learning, I think. Every mistake I made, it was just burning right through. So maybe the thing was I guess the voltage was too high or something. But anyway, when I moved to a thicker metal, it seemed to give me a little more leeway. So if I stopped for half a second too long, it didn't burn through. So I tried with a thicker one on the thin metal and got this result, which is, you know, decent. Looked kind of ugly, but it does look like a weld. So now I'm going to try and weld just two big pieces of metal together. Now, if you're a welder, you're gonna say those welds are crap, and they are. I can see that. I know they're supposed to look nice and flowing, like a roll of dimes or something. I guess I don't know if that's this or TIG welding. Anyway, the main thing that we were here to do is to weld that nut onto the subframe, and I think I'm just gonna try it, see what happens. A reminder why I went through all this effort. This is the mount. There's supposed to be a weld nut right here. So this is supposed to be here. And this goes up through the engine mount. Just like this. Booyah. And then what we have is a perfect engine mount. One of the things that I noticed when I was looking closely at those welds is that they're a little porous. So I'm just gonna turn the argon up a little bit. Okay, so the whole reason I learned how to do this moment right here. Okay, I'm happy with about 0% of those, but 2 look okay. That one's obviously no good. Yeah, so I'll have to spread it out a bit, but it is in there. It's tacked on there, let's say. Well, I didn't weld the bolt in, so that's good. Okay, here it is, the final product. Please don't laugh. You can cringe if you want to. I'm not super happy with it, to be honest. I'm kind of disappointed, but I think it's gonna hold. I mean, basically I had about 3 hours of welding training, effort into this. I'm a little disappointed. I thought it would come out a little bit better. But for now, that's going to be the best it gets. I'll have somebody else take a look at it and see what they think. And feel free to leave comments about what I've done wrong here. I feel like it is going to hold though. So that is learning to weld in 3 days. A few hours a day. The main goal was to get this nut welded on, which it is there. If we were talking suspension or steering or brakes, obviously I wouldn't have quite as much confidence because it's so ugly, but this is a lower engine mount. The worst case scenario, if this weld breaks, is that the engine mount will be a little bit loose. So if in a future video I have a loose engine mount, we'll know why. It was fun. I started running a scrap metal to practice, so I'm gonna go buy some more over time, but there's nothing on the car right now that needs more welding. So that's gonna be the end of this video. I had fun doing it. The other thing is, the next video you see, I'm still waiting for that bearing, the main engine bearing, to be delivered. So the next thing you're gonna see me doing is actually working on the rest of the subframe. So stay tuned for that. And just to end the video, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for the positive comments. There's a shocking number of positive comments, actually. Considering it's YouTube, I really expected a bunch of people to tell me how big an idiot I was, but you guys really are supportive, so I appreciate it. Thanks for watching every video, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.